Hello, Carmazil. Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to my Black Desert stream. So, as said in the title, today I'm going to be doing the Striker Awakened Weapon quest. So let's begin. This time, our character's first clue to his identity and memories is in Calpheon of all places. Right, looks like Milano Vellucci recognizes our Striker. Looks like our Striker was acquainted with Milano before he lost his memory, and he used to live in somewhere south of Calpheon that had a view of a beautiful waterfall. So it looks like even during the time our Striker had his memory, he often went to this place to live a reclusive life for some periods of time. Hello, Trinixin, and hello, A741855523. And looking at the mannerism of how Milano talked to the Striker, it seems like the Striker used to be a part of nobility. Sorry, and I don't know, like, or at least somewhat acquainted to people of that rank. Because the Korean text for her dialogue with the Striker was in honorific, so it kind of implies that he might have been of high status. So we find a place where we can find a trace of a strange key. So the Striker recognizes that waterfall to be the place where he used to go into hiding or training, whatever. So he tends towards the waterfall while his black spirit looks at him knowingly. So our Striker used this place as a training ground, and he has a journal of his training. So for a long time, our Striker wanted more power, always wanted more power than he had, and strived for more power all the time, and went through vigorous training in order to obtain more power. And as a result, okay, so the journal goes back to 9 years ago, and Okay, so it doesn't specifically mention what happened, but Stryker does remember that at the time some that big event happened, he thought that he would be able to control his power, but something went wrong. And this time he's not going to make the same mistake. But in order to suppress and control this power, he would need special kind of equipment to do so. Luckily, our Striker will be able to gather the materials needed for this close by. Looks like our Striker might be the first case of Unawakened quest line straying away from the usual pattern. Hello, Josh. If I'm here, then that bridge should be too far away. Need to get 100 of these guys. Okay, I play for us. You think you'll make a striker guide at some point? Actually, no, because I just really don't have time to level up a striker to be knowledgeable enough to make a guide. I mean, at best, I think the only thing I could do is make a brief video explaining the skill explanations, the skill descriptions on each of his awakened weapon skills, and like half of them won't have any actual uses of the skills, and since I won't be able to reach the level required to use all skills. Alright, I think we're almost there. Did the quest yesterday. I'm glad they made this one short easier. Yeah, that's right. I agree with that. The usual 3 quest model was like had unnecessary fluff. And for new players, trying to get those golems has always proved to be a brick wall for them, which is kind of understandable. Seeing how those golems were intended to be hunted as a party at that level range. Right, so he's finally getting close to regaining his original strength. So he uses the essence of darkness he gained from Hexay and with the essence of time that has compounded within this cave. And now to rediscover himself. The striker can still feel his other alter ego. When in the past he had been unable to control his power. There's another side of him here who still has the power he held in the past. And the current striker, unlike his past self, is ready to control this power. Some question: what is striker good at? PvP, guild vs guild, or PvE? Hard to tell, really. But I think he's gonna be kind of bad for PvE, since his damage output is, well, it's not. It doesn't seem bad from what people are saying, but it's just that it's a sorcerer's primary weapon all over again. It's way too complicated and difficult. And while it is more fun to do, we all know by now that complicated and fun is always inverse to being good and useful, and the simple and boring is always the most optimal and powerful choice here. But for PvP and guild vs guild, I think it still has to be seen, because he still has his incredibly tanky side. And that extra grapple he gets from his awakened weapon should also be useful as well. Okay, where'd he go? Why do you speak English this well? Well, because I've lived in the States for several years. Since my family moved over there, for my dad's PhD. I don't keep going behind him when I'm just using my attack skills. And so finally our striker has been able to regain his past power self, and the two has become one again. Past and future has become one again. So his other self has been reborn as the fighting combat lords, armaments. That's just the rudimentary name. I'm just gonna give it for now. Alright, so finally our training is complete, and the two strikers can be completely one, but be warned that great power demands has a vicious cost. Alright, then let's look over the skills I have. Wonder if I can. It might be better to do this while I have a training dummy, so let me get a free skill reset and see how things work from there. So hearing that, just a second, let me just go through the chat before I keep on talking. Okay, that's good. It's nice to have a Korean streamer who can speak English. Yeah, that's why I've decided, since the number of people that fall into that category seems to be surprisingly small, I just decided to position myself as the guy who streams Korean games, which has been admittedly increasingly harder to do as time passes. So in Korean server, Dark Knights still are the best at PvP and Gilvia skilled. So far from the looks of it, yes. Oh wait, we don't have to go to Armstrong anymore. Oh, okay. So we have our basic left click attack. As usual, it has a forward advancing command and left and right swiping. Uh, Down, left click. Yes, I'm just gonna go with the keyboard. So S left click, SL is has a extra crit chance. Seems a bit stationary, but he also seems to summon. Yeah, he also seems to summon. What should I call them? I'm just gonna just go and simply allies. So he summons allies while doing this attack. Advances forward a bit, but not that much. And yeah, I'm just gonna go over the description. So 30%, no, so 20% at level 1, and at when mastered 50% extra crit chance. Adds vigor with each hit. Recovers vigor with each hit. Has small amount of additional accuracy. Decreases defense for 10 seconds for targets. For the first hit, yeah, so the damage defense debuff is on the first hit, and the first hit is also super armor. Second hit causes lift, and it seems like the second hit also counts as a down attack if the first attack hits. No, wait. Okay, the first attack is a down attack, and the second and third attack is an air attack. And the third attack is also an air smash. And of course, the super armor on the first attack doesn't kick in if the skill is on cooldown, and also does reduced damage. No, wait, I have to change first. I've noticed that on Twitch, Korean streamers only have around 300 views, while non-Korean from other games have around at least 1,000 views at least. Is Twitch not this popular in Korea? Yeah, Twitch isn't that known in Korea. The usual go-to streaming services was Africa, which is a domestic Korean domestic channel, but after some scandal involving claimed unfair treatment to streamers on Africa, a lot of people moved over to YouTube. Alright, so let's go on to the second skill. F, and we can also use it after a primary weapon skill. Yeah, seems like it. Okay, so just F while in awakened weapon mode, but you can also use it after the somersault attack with your primary weapon. So you can use it after this. And the skill description goes. Alright, it seems to do a lot of damage for being fairly quick. And let's see, recovers vigor on hit. A very marginally small amount of accuracy added. During the start of the skill, it counts as a block. And from then on, it counts as a super armor status. The kick drags in targets. Of course, it doesn't apply to players. And Kazarka just regened, but I'm just gonna pass. Alright, so where was I? And when the last attack hits, it causes bound. And the skill counts as a down attack. And of course, again, the bound doesn't apply during cooldown. Nothing mentioned for the guard status and super armor, so I guess it works even during cooldown. And the ally doesn't appear during cooldown. So let's try it again. So yeah, this time he didn't appear. Alright, next one. Shift F. Seems to be a moderate amount of damage. 50% crit chance added for all levels. A good amount of accuracy added. And when the skill is used, you get 10% increased attack speed for 10 seconds. And when on hit, it will decrease movement speed by 20% for 10 seconds on the target. Causes knockdown and also counts as a super armor skill and is a down attack. Mentions nothing about any penalties during cooldown, so I guess this is something that you can't use during cooldown. Yeah, can only be used when off cooldown. And I forgot to mention, so this also summons an ally. Shift left click. Let's see. So there's this spacebar skill you can use with your primary weapon called Crouching Wolf, but this can also be used with your awakened weapon. And the command for this skill, as mentioned, was shift left click, but it can also be used with your right click after Crouching Wolf with your primary weapon. And if you use Crouching Wolf with your awakened weapon, then you can use this skill with the left click. So currently I'm in my primary weapon status. I'm going to use Crouching Wolf, right click. So I use that skill and I'm in awakened weapon. I have my awakened weapon out. Yeah, it seems to deal a good amount of damage. Recovers HP per hit. Very small amount of accuracy added. Causes knockdown. And also counts as a block. It has down attack. And also does down smash. When it's on cooldown, the damage is decreased. And the block status, HP recovery on hit, and knockdown isn't applied. Also, the movement amount for the skill is decreased during cooldown. Okay, so I can move up to the third scarecrow. It doesn't seem to be a significant difference. Then again, it could just be my direction. Right, next, shift right click. Okay, this one seems to deal a good amount of damage. This one also recovers HP on hit. Has okay amount of accuracy added. Pushbacks monsters. The last hit can cause lift. It's a down attack, and the last attack counts as an air attack. The skill summons allies, and during cooldown, the allies don't appear. The damage is reduced. The lift isn't applied. Nothing mentioned about the HP recovery on hit, so I guess this skill you can use to recover HP even during cooldown. So it's shift, right click. Ah, okay, so it's a multi-hit skill. So the last hit is a lift and air attack. It doesn't have any super armor or guard status, so this would be a skill you would have to use against a stunned or stiffened target during PvP. WF. Okay, does a good amount of damage. With just 3 hits. Has a really good amount of accuracy added. Counts as a block. Inflicts damage over time. So 27. When mastered, it's 30 damage for each 3 seconds over 27 seconds. And it also stuns. And it looks like this is his Black Spirit skill. Oh, this is the 200% Black Spirit skill. I guess I won't be seeing this one. And also summons an ally. I suppose this skill can't be used during cooldown. No, I guess not. Oh wait, I see, I was using something else. Yeah. So yeah, I can't use it during cooldown. Okay, so I guess one of the most basic combos would be to somehow close in on your target. Use this, and then wait, crap, and then this. And just right click is okay, does a fair amount of damage, very good accuracy, counts as a block, and the last attack causes knockdown, and the skill is a down attack. During cooldown, the damage is reduced, and the knockdown and block effect doesn't apply. Okay, and his Shift E is his buff skill. Recovers 500 HP immediately. It's for 30 seconds. He has 20 plus DP, 30% increased attack speed, and his all of his resistance is increased by 30%. Okay, and he also has a skill that's chained after crouching wolf. Hold on to spacebar after using crouching wolf, or you can also do left click after the shift right click left click skill, the one where he does the drill attack. So the skill, it does a good amount of damage, 50% crit chance. Recovers a good amount of vigor. First hit causes stun, and the second hit pushes away monsters, and it's also a down attack. So it's a skill that's chained after. That's weird. It seems to be a skill that's chained after shift left click, the drill skill, but the prerequisite is just crouching wolf. Alright, let's try resetting my skills, and I guess I didn't use. First, I'm just gonna get the essentials. For example, movement skills is a must. Yeah, the crouching wolf is also a must. I guess I could live without leveling up the grab, because I'm not gonna be doing any PvP with him anyway. This I might need, but Yeah, let's skip for now. This one is pretty useful. Also this. And this one too, since it somersault is also used to chain into a awakened weapon skill. This one too, since it's short, simple, and recovers HP. Alright, let's look at the other two skills that I haven't checked. Alright, so while using awakened weapon skill and using the his forward movement skill, you can press W shift. Oh, looks like he can chain his forward dash skill. But it looks like it uses a huge amount of stamina. And it has a separate longer cooldown. Or maybe not. Yeah, so that maybe not was regarding the stamina cost. Okay, that's fair. Shift Q does a fair amount of damage, 50% added crit chance, super armor while using skill. There's a small phase where you're moving. When you're moving, you're invulnerable, causes stun, and is also the 100% Black Spirit skill. Okay, so I suppose how this works is he kind of like teleports forward and targets behind him after moving forward to get hit. Right, then let me just quickly... yeah, I should also show his grapple skill on something. So the grab also acts differently depending on which skill he changed it after. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to find stronger targets to use it on, since having pulling in several hits before using the grapple is required. But before that, let me just practice his skills for a couple minutes. Alright, WL, F. Forward F, Shift F, go Shift right click, what am I supposed to recover stamina with? F and down left. Okay, F is definitely not it. So it's, yeah, S left click. Shift F. Shift L. Shift R. Shift Q. Forward F. Just F. And the skills for the grapple chain is shift left click, shift right click, and basically follow-up skill for Shift L. Q and Shift F. Right, so time for me to go practice a bit. Before I go, I should.
상인 조합장이 허가한 정식 거래니까 믿고 맡기셔도 좋습니다.
Fill the blue weapon off the market. And ready to go. So I heard that his awakened weapon skills are really complicated because as you go further down his level, and gain more skills, they chain with his primary weapon skills in a very complicated manner. Yeah, so just like his primary weapon skills, even his awakened weapon skills has a lot of chained skills to them. What's the quest like in Korea now, Ruthless? Sorry, I'm not really sure. Not sure what you mean by that. Could you clarify your question?
보러 간 김에 좀 먹기라고. 고마워요. 필요한 게 있으면 나를 통해 이야기하시오.
Looks like I might be able to do show most of the skill motions at level 57, because the rest of them are chained attacks from other existing skills that you learn at earlier at level 56. This direction. Let's first start with how the normal grapple works. And it seems like using the grapple skill while his awakened weapon grapple is on cooldown makes him use his primary weapon grapple. So I can grab him once, and grab him again, and then primary weapon. forward. That was the skill I was forgetting. I wonder if one of the guys with the shield can survive my first drill attack. Ah, crap. Ah, darn it. Okay, so if you use the grapple after the drill attack, you can kind of drag your target forward. Looks like I'll have to go get closer. Shoot again. And if you use it after the fourth hit of this, you just slam the target behind you with the grapple. Normally, you just slam them down in front of you. So I suppose the most impressive version is after the spin attack. Looks like after. Oh wait, that was the Black Spirit skill. Wow, Shift R really wrecks targets. And well, I mean, of course it should, because it's a since it doesn't have any super armor or block status, you're completely vulnerable to attacks, and am completely stationary, which makes you an easy target. So yeah, awesome damage should be required to compensate. Ah, looks like the uppercut skill is the primary weapon skill you can use to switch into primary weapon during awakened weapon. Which means I should probably level it up. Right, so I guess the only thing left for me to think of a basic setup for using awakened weapon skills would be to find a more reliable way to switch into awakened weapon during primary weapon. I need something more stationary to use besides the drill attack. Alright, I think there was one. Which one was it after somersault? Okay, yeah, it was F. Yep, that was the Black Spirit skill. Well, I can't tell how good or bad it is functionally, but the Striker's Awaken weapon is pretty awesome when it comes in terms of visuals. I'm getting hit by something. Okay, strange. Why isn't my Q working? Okay, Q isn't working again. Right, this channel seems too crowded. Let's try moving over somewhere else. Right, doesn't seem any better here. Q is not working again. Can't tell if this is a glitch or... Yeah, I think it's a glitch after using Shift Q. You can't use your Q skill. But if I try switching again... Yep, this time it worked. And if I use my Shift Q skill... okay, this time it worked. Right, so it looks like as long as I use my skills, when I can chain them with my allies, they do immense damage, but if not, they become significantly weaker. Let me just quickly check which ones were down attacks. Okay, if that's a down attack. Don't need to look any further. Hello, Jakub. Is transition to awakened pre-awakened form smooth and seamless? Um, the transition itself is seamless, but the problem is that you're kind of like forced to use certain chains to do so. But of course, if you don't want to use the change that they force you to do, you could always just use a C to change in a pinch, if that's what you need. Okay, I think I'm comfortable enough to try experimenting a bit over at Kahaz. And then I think I could call it a day. Since I do have to get ready for bed if I want to go to work tomorrow. Yeah, what the heck, I'm just gonna sell all of these.
뭐로 간식중이야 식은 죽 먹기라고.
필요한 게 있으면 나를 통해 이야기하십시오. 소산족과의 상담.
Alright, forgot to bring black stones. But there might be a workaround. Nope. The teleport behind the back was the cheesy pose. Is it like a stun or something? I think it was a stun. Yeah, it's a stun. Super armor status while using the skill, and when you briefly disappear, you're invulnerable. Oh, wait, let me just experiment with something. Ah, I see. Almost all of his attacks count as a down attack, so I guess I won't have to worry too much about not utilizing downed enemies. Looks like someone already got a 20 plus Dandelion down-dealing weapon for the striker. Right, so I think I'm going to do about maybe half an hour of grinding and then call it a day. Here I should be able to better utilize my skills. No need to go way up to the mansion. Alright, for a level 56 character with just 156 AP and 151 awakened weapon AP, he seems to be doing really well. Yeah, that's an insane amount of damage against monsters for this amount of stats. Either that or they really nerfed Gahaz monsters hard. So basically, Striker is a ninja with better transition, better grab, along with more passive and bigger evasion buffs. I, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know a lot about ninja skills to comment, but it seems like ninja does have better like sideways movement. Do the clones do a lot of damage? Yeah, they seem to do a lot of damage. My damage output uh, tends to depend a lot on whether or not my skills are on cooldown or not, since a lot of the skills don't summon the allies when on cooldown. You can grab something 5 meters in front of you. Is that a run animation part of the grabbing, or do I have... Oh, well, you have to be next to the guy. When I do the grab and running motion, it's actually only applies when I use it after a certain skill, which is namely this one. Ah, darn it. I thought I wouldn't have any competition over here. 18%. Ninja has 18% evasion buff. Teleport behind back with stun. 2 stances, iframes. Awakening buff gives HP. And 2 grabs. Yeah, I can see the overlaps. Is it good in terms of clear speed from as much as you can tell? Yeah, it seems to be good if just regarding speed, but I mentioned this earlier on the stream, but it really kind of feels like Sorcerer's primary weapon all over again. The command input is fun but more complicated than the usual. Which means that fatigue over time while grinding is going to be greater compared to other characters. That pose reminds me of Akuma. Oh, you mean this, right? Yeah, I think this is a throwback to. This is definitely inspired by his skill. Seems like managing HP and vigor is going to be a bit of a trouble during PvP though. Either that or drink a lot of herb waters. that was so stupid of me to just bring all my money here. Just try dumping as much as I can over here. Okay, that's a lot better. Yeah, I think I need another reliable skill to switch to primary weapon besides Q. That's what I'm experiencing most difficulties on currently. My only way of switching to primary weapon is Q, which glitches a lot. I mean, earlier I was just smashing on Q and it wasn't working. Sometimes it just works perfectly. Again, Q's not working. Maybe there's a certain skill that prevents it. Yeah, certainly looks like a glitch. What are your first impressions? Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, it feels like sorcerer primary weapon all over again. I've heard the comparison to ninja. Come to think of it, I did see on the forums that it also people mentioned that people who play kunoichi or ninja shouldn't have too much trouble in getting accustomed to striker's awakened weapon. Oh right, almost forgot the grapple. When the awakened weapon's grapple is off cooldown, you can also use the grapple again for your primary weapon, which isn't something you can rely on if you're fighting monsters that you can't grab. Again, Q is not working. Some Q. Nope, not working. What if I try moving sideways and then use it again? Still not working. Okay, what if I use an evasion? Now it works. So the clear speed does seem itself seems to be okay, but trying to gather monsters in a position where you can wipe them out will prove to be difficult. Yeah, the the uppercut button was uppercut skill with your primary weapon, it's glitching way too often in awakened weapon mode. His roundhouse kick to the side also switches. If you're talking about this skill, yeah, it seems to base chain into basically almost all of his primary weapon skills. Well, like, except his kick skills. Then again, there also is this skill that chains into it. Okay, so I've been hearing a lot of complaints about bugs, and I guess I can understand. It's really difficult to get a grasp of his controls right now with so many glitches interfering with his combos. And for a character that's very dependent on skill chains, this is a huge problem. Okay, my mic sound is really low. Let me check. I was talking a bit too far away from my mic earlier, so that might have been the reason. Let's see. Use awakening grab on cooldown to use pre-awakened grab without switching. Yeah. So if you try to use the grab, if you use the E key while your awakened weapon grab is on cooldown, then he'll just use his primary weapon grab, which also switches it to his primary weapon skill. I mean skill set. Whatever. What if you put his Q on the hotbar? Does it still glitch out? Haven't tried that yet. Let's see. It seems like that actually did fix the problem for now. Right, I think I should get ready to wrap up now. Okay, I'm just gonna do one more lap and then end the stream there. Ah, damn, the Q key is not working again. So I suppose it might have been more about getting hit by a knockback. Okay, I would love to show more, but I really should start getting ready for bed. So I guess that will be it for today. Not sure when the next stream is going to be. It's most likely not going to be during this weekend though, since I already have other plans. So maybe the next weekend, or even during next any day during the weekdays, if I'm lucky. Okay then, that's it for today. Thank you for watching.